How do you pronounce Kamala? Kamala? Really?
Like, how did we elect?
Obama was that shift of, whoa. The America currently right now is America that just wants to be a white man's land. And that's a terrifying fact to face. I'm sad. I'm heartbroken that Kamala Harris didn't win. I'm also just proud to be a black woman because we always stand on business. Some of the best people you know are black women, and we always will ride for each other. And so when I saw a lot of black women just being so exhausted by voting in that election, I think, yeah, this sounds about right.
I want us to dream a little bit.
Dream?
Just a
okay.
little bit. Imagine Kamala Harris won. What would that have been like?
Welcome to Am I Too Loud, the podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to Am I Too Loud, the podcast with Sophie, aka the Odditty. I feel like that's weird to start the intro like that. Honestly, I feel like I've been out of the loop a little bit. If you're listening to this on Spotify, hey gang, hey y'all. If you're listening to this on audio, I should say, hey guys, I miss you, I love you, hi. If you're watching this on YouTube, hey YouTube fam. I don't know how to start this episode because there's a lot of feelings going on right now about the recent American elections. But first, if you're watching this video, you can tell that I am like winter ready. Like I have a full fit on, you guys. It is currently freezing in New York City. And if you don't know, I record my podcast on my balcony just for the funsies. So it is a bit chilly, okay? It's a bit cold. So if you hear any teeth chattering, just know that I am braving the storm for you guys because I wanted to get this episode out to you ASAP. Some background before we dive into today's episode. I just got back from a really, really nice, fun trip. Hi, Donald. Are you okay?
I'm surviving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it though. We can make it through an hour of this.
This is good. It's gonna be a fun episode. Donald is freezing as well. Yo, it's really cold outside. But Donald, any thoughts about my recent trip that I went on?
I have questions.
Okay, ask away.
What's the title of the trip? What's the title
of the trip?
Yeah, what would you title the trip? If you were to explain your trip in one sentence.
Surreal.
That's a word.
Oh, okay. The title?
Yeah.
Finding oneself.
That's deep. Tell us more.
I don't know. For context, you guys, I went on a pretty private solo adventure. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Solo
adventure for about 5 days. I did not record, or I recorded for my personal use, but I didn't record anything. I never do that. I did not work at all. I literally just lived and had such a good time. This was post the marathon. I just ran a New York City marathon. If you missed last week's episode, so this was literally after the marathon. 2 days later, I was on a 10-hour flight to my destination. If you saw me at the so-called destination, hey. But yeah, because some people recognized me and they were like saying hi, and so it was really cute. But yeah, I'm back. I literally just landed from the 10-hour flight, and Donald was like, we need to film this episode because life was incredible. Like life is insane right now. And fun fact, I literally was traveling the day of or the next day after the election results. So I left New York on the 6th, and I think that's when, Trump declared that he won the elections, and the entirety of the internet and everyone was in uproar, and I was on a flight to the continent. That's the only sneak peek I would kind of say.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's the sort of like context around this episode. But you guys, we're gonna dive in because this episode is gonna be interesting. We're talking about the 2024 United States presidential elections that recently got concluded. If you've been listening to any of the episodes we've been recording, and some that we've already recorded that will be coming out in the future, Donald was a very, very sure advocate for the fact that Kamala Harris was going to win. He was so sure about it. So Donald has a really, really soft spot, and he's kind of really tender right now. So we're going to be putting that in context for a lot of things. But yeah, Donald, how are you feeling about the election results? Let's start there.
I feel heartbroken.
Yeah.
No, for real, heartbroken.
Okay.
Like, I remember I called you.
You did. At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m.
Yeah, also, random. Everybody woke up at 3 a.m. Do we know that? It's like, is this a thing that happened? Yeah. Everybody in the world woke up. Especially, I feel like New Yorkers woke up at 3 a.m. to be like,
because that was when they announced it.
Yeah. What are the results? Because I feel like people fell asleep. But that 3 a.m., 3:30 time was when something happened in the world where we all collectively gasped and woke up and said,
I have a word for it.
Yeah.
I have a word.
What's the word?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Pennsylvania.
So
fucked us
Pennsylvania
over.
happened,
Okay.
and we were like, first of all, it's like I can't believe it.
Really?
Like, how did we elect for censorship? I can't say those words because my mom raised me right. We're like, how? You know, and I think like I was living in this land of delusion.
Yes.
You know,
You
going into the
absolutely
election.
You were.
And I had my blinders on because
You
like
did.
it's like, you know, it's a black woman. We want her in the office.
Yeah.
We don't care, you know, what she's doing wrong.
She didn't do anything wrong.
No. Right. We don't care, right? Like,
yeah, but at the end of the day, it was like, okay, we wanted her to win.
Yes.
And she didn't. Yes.
And yeah.
I didn't think she was going to win.
Tell me why.
I was so sure of it.
Tell me why.
And I think we're going to get into a lot about the American electoral system as a whole in this episode. And you guys, just for context too, I enjoy politics. I went to school in America for political science. Like I studied the American political system. And I also really, really enjoy like fun political commentary shows. So this is like right up my alley in terms of like just expanding on what ideas people sort of have around this conversation. Kamala Harris was never going to win in America as of right now. The America that we exist in was not ready for a Kamala Harris. The America was not even ready for a Barack Obama, I would say. I think for someone who's lived in West Virginia, Louisiana, Washington, D.C., Virginia area, Jersey, and now New York sometimes feels like a bubble, right? It feels like that escape where you tend to think the old world has the similar ideals as you.
Right.
But whenever you go to middle America, when you go online, when you go to the spots that aren't necessarily in your own echo chamber, you realize America is a pretty scary place if you are not a white male.
So I think that was the reality for me, right? The reality is like, I've lived in New York like since I moved to America.
Yeah.
Right? And I didn't think about that part. I didn't think about it because you saying America isn't ready, we talked about this before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're so ready. We had Obama.
No.
You know, we just defeated Trump in 2020.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows where we need to go.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting you talked about like the US election system. I had a whole article where I was going to talk about like why we have like the Democratic and the Republican Party.
Yeah.
But I think skipping that, right?
We don't have to skip that. Let's talk about it. Let's explain for people who don't know how American politics works, right?
Okay.
This is like not, you shouldn't listen to this and then go write an exam on it. Right? If you listen to this,
yes.
This is like two people who have general idea. I did go to school for it. We read books. Wrote an article. But essentially, America has two dominant political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. And then there's also like the third party, the Tea Party, the Green Party. There's other like independent parties. For the most part, that's how the American political system is functioned. To elect the president in this context, there is the popular vote and then the electoral college vote. The popular vote, I like to say, is something what they call vibes.
Yeah.
The popular vote is just, let's see who you guys really like.
Right.
Just for the fun of it. Right? And so that's typically where people cast their ballots. They go to the polls, they wait in line, they cast it for the popular votes. That means nothing.
No, it does though.
It does not.
It does. In this context, what you're doing
It
is,
does not.
according to my article, don't quote me, you're electing, right? You're pushing forward the person that you want to be elected, to represent.
That doesn't matter.
Like you're not actually electing the person.
You're just telling us you might want this person.
Yes.
Because someone can win the popular votes but lose the electoral college vote and still become president of the United States.
But there's a reason for that.
Yes. Checks and balances.
Yes.
But also what?
There was an argument, right? Because it's for representation.
Yes.
Because if we go by population, a lot of states.
Exactly.
Some fun facts.
Tell me.
It's that if California became a country on its own, it would have a higher GDP than India.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it would be the 9th richest country in the world.
That's random. I love that. That's a good fun fact for y'all.
Yeah, just in case you didn't know.
An odd fact, if you will.
So my take is, because California produces so much, and all the other countries, all the other states in between Middle America, don't you think California should have a bigger say on who becomes president?
No, I don't think so. I think America is really interesting as a country, right? Because I think it's like the fun part of like the politics. It's not necessarily the right part of things. It's just like what it is.
Yeah.
And so basically, then the Electoral College is a group of people that are selected to then cast their ballots sometime in like early January or like end of December to then vote for the actual president of the United States, and that person is sworn in. Now, let's get to the nitty gritty of it. Trump won the popular votes by far, and is absolutely going to win. He also won the Electoral College votes, if you tally it right now, like projected, by far too, which was a shock to a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people really, really surprised that Trump won, even battleground states like Pennsylvania and stuff. I didn't think that was shocking. I expected it, because I don't think even right now, there was a lot of like push and pull for Kamala Harris. But I think we're living in a world now where social media dominates our perspectives, but the reality is very, very different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, a lot of my issues with that is the fact that we tend to live at social media and think this is what it is, when it isn't necessarily so.
Yeah.
Because most Americans aren't going on social media. They're going on cable TV.
Yeah.
Right? Most Americans who are voting, most people who
They're going on Newsmax.
Yeah, who are Newsmax. Most people who are actually aren't necessarily getting their news from TikTok. They think TikTok, middle-aged America, millennials, boomers aren't going on TikTok to hear their news, right? So even looking at Kamala HQ's TikTok and seeing the response to that, I've heard a lot of people say, well, Kamala was too like funny. She was like that. She wasn't too serious for office.
She was laughing all the time.
She was laughing all the time. They said she was cackling was the word for it. She wasn't serious. And that used to piss me the fuck off. Because if you're comparing her to a Donald Trump who cannot form two concrete sentences, what the fuck are we talking about here? What are we talking about?
So
you know what I mean?
this was my logic.
Yeah, I just don't get it. And I think that's what I realized, oh yeah, America isn't ready for a female. Isn't ready for a woman, a female president, a black president. Just isn't ready for progress, right? Because even when you look at Jubilee on YouTube, if you're listening, Jubilee is like this channel on YouTube that brings a lot of like conversations to the forefront. The people who are on
that was very enlightening.
I think they were a huge problem with this election too, because I think what they ended up doing was putting to the forefront really ridiculous arguments that made no sense at all with regards to this election. And when you see folks like that who think so strongly about things that are absolutely not even true, you realize, oh yeah, no, she was never going to win this. It was just not in her favor. Right. And we're going to talk about like the percentages of the people that like voted and all that stuff too, but let's get into
what you just said, right?
What?
About she was never going to be president and America wasn't ready. After the election, there was a video that went viral.
Yeah.
Right? I want to play that video.
Okay.
And tell me your thoughts.
Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again. And there will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president, ever. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. You will never be the president of the global empire. Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice. Your body, our choice. Your body, our choice. All day, every day, therapist, mama made.
Thoughts?
I laugh in the face of danger. Ha 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 ha. From Lion King.
So that guy is a known, like, you know, white supremacist. And it's so interesting because that video was played on the news.
You know what I keep hearing? Your body, our choice. Your body, our choice. Your body, our choice.
No, he said mine.
He said our choice too. He ended it with your body, our choice. Right. Like our choice as in men.
Right.
There is no word except for disgusted. Disgusted at the people, frustrated at the women who voted for people like this in office. The scariest population of people in America are white men. Yeah. I say that with my chest, and I mean that. Yeah. The scariest population of people are white men, and the most terrified are also white men, right? Because I saw a video and an interview of this guy who was talking about, because Don Lennon reposted it, and I was talking about a guy saying like, oh, like our population with breeding and all this stuff. So like, wanted to make sure like white people were not the minority in their own country, in a country that was never their own in the first place. Right. Because America is not a white man's land.
Not even close.
Not even close, right? It wasn't even built with white people's hands too. I think Trump is a huge manifestation of what the reality of living in America is. And it's so frustrating for me because I'm an immigrant talking about this, and it's even terrifying that I'm thinking I have the balls to talk about this, right? But I'm an immigrant talking about this, and I see what Trump is doing, and I, in many ways, want to applaud him for it.
Yeah.
Because what he's doing is the most capitalist thing you could do for a country like America, is tell those people exactly what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And make money off of it. At no point in time has he ever said otherwise. You know what I mean? And he's doing exactly what they want. And that's the actual reality of living in America. That video is what we're going to be facing.
Because that's
for the
one thing
next
he's
4
good
years.
at. And I think that's something I've noticed. He's not bringing out his own thoughts.
It's not his thoughts.
He's saying
Exactly.
this is what, and I think like
It's
that
what they
idea
want.
of like before the election, people thought, okay, this guy is just like, he's just talking.
Yeah.
He's just
not
chatting shit.
Well, think about it, because like Trump is racist, right? He's racist. He's a
Yeah.
racist white man who has a lot of money, and then Barack Obama happened, and he was such a poser of who Barack Obama was.
Yeah. It upsets him so much.
It upset him so much. So for him, even that attack on himself is like, I'm going to show that I am in charge. I am this, I am that. And for him to replace Obama in office was an absolute slap in the face of progressives everywhere.
Right.
Right? Because I remember people thinking, okay, after Obama, America is going in a different direction. What happened after Obama was there was already a gap with the American population, right? People who were really progressive, people who were like, this is too much, too fast. And Trump said they could have either gone and said a person who was like, oh, you know, we're going to continue this on and show support and have respect and debate accordingly. But instead of going that way, Trump said, I see this divide. I want to double down on it.
Right.
I want to make this wider. I want to make this bigger. I want to make this more. And that is what it became. It became opposing sides. Because the Democrats and Republicans have always been respectful.
Right.
Like there might be some like jabs here and there, throws.
In policy.
In policy, it's always been respectful. And I think Obama was that shift of, whoa, y'all did too much now.
Yeah.
A black man in office, a Negro in office was too much for America.
Yeah.
And I think we saw Obama in office and thought change had come. But when Obama won, and when Trump won in 2016, I was still in college then, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when he won, the shift was palpable because I was in Louisiana at the time. The shift was palpable in the way people spoke about. Wait, was Trump in 2016 or 2020?
2016. Yeah, that was Trump and Hillary.
Hillary, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember at that point in time, I had a big in college who was a white guy who like, me and him were really close. Like that was like my friend, my partner. I'm a little international student. And I remember like Trump won and this guy had said to our faces, now it's time for you all to go back to Africa. And I said, yay. Somebody who I broke bread with, someone who I knew, someone who I thought cared about me. And that was a quick reminder that it's all a facade. Right. It's a mask. A lot of people around who you think are your people aren't. Like, and that is literally the definition of what a Trump America is. Like the mask is finally removed.
Right.
The people who you thought are hiding their feelings about you aren't hiding anymore. It's in plain sight. And I don't know if I'm grateful for that, right? Because now at least I know. I know what I'm dealing with. And I think we tend to feel very, terrified. But at the same time, at least now we know.
Right.
I'm not going to walk around the streets thinking, oh yeah, you really care about me. You don't.
Right.
You don't care about black people, about gay people, about women's rights, about equality. None of that is true. The America that is right now is an America that actually wants nothing to do with minorities or progress or anything of that. The America currently right now is America that just wants to be a white man's land. And that's a terrifying fact to face. And it also feels very debilitating because at some point we're going to have to realize, do we fight back? Right? Are we going to stay to fight back? And absolutely, because we deserve to be here. This world, this melting pot is a melting pot for a reason. We built this country. My ancestors built this damn country. You know what I mean? So at some point we're going to fight back, and we are fighting back. Like I saw Kamala Harris, like her concession speech, and her walk away was the walk away of a black woman who's like, oh, I'll be back.
Yeah.
And we're ready for that fight. But of course, we're still feeling a bit sad about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is also respectable. Like, I understand. Like, I know a lot of Black women everywhere as well who are feeling exhausted by the conversations we're having, who are feeling like we can't keep fighting this fight for other people. Like, honestly, like, take it, go. We have to fight.
But it's like that's the existence, right? And I
Yeah.
think
Because our existence is in itself a
Yeah.
form of resistance.
Yeah.
Like, me sitting here today having this podcast is my little way of showing resistance to
Right.
a country that has constantly told me I am not welcome here. But I deserve to be here. Like, we all do, right? And democracy teaches us that we want to hear all sides.
Yeah.
But I don't think a side that is telling me I shouldn't exist is a side I want to listen to.
Right.
And I think that's my issue with Trump America. Trump America keeps telling folks what to do about themselves, how to take away their choices, how to not be who they are. That's why I can't understand. It's different if this is policy that actually matters, but it isn't.
Yeah.
It feels like just jabs at womanhood and a personhood, and about immigration and stuff about actually affecting
life
real
and
life
family
people,
and just-
life and
yeah.
family. It is not.
It's like there's no love in
There's
any
no-
of the conversations.
There's none whatsoever, and I think that's upsetting. But also as an African, I'm like, oh yeah, these are our people.
So
Like,
wait,
yeah,
I want us
welcome to
to
the
dream a little bit,
world. Dream.
just
Okay.
a little bit, right? Tell me from your perspective, right? Like,
Okay.
what would have like imagine Kamala Harris won, right? What would that have been like,
God, inauguration day would have been insane.
right?
Kamala Harris presidency. Honestly, I can't dream of it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Wow, Donald, I can't think of that. And I'm not even saying that because of what we're doing this. I'm genuinely serious.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when we're talking in other episodes about a Kamala Harris presidency, you could picture it, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever could. Maybe that's why I always thought she wasn't gonna win.
Right.
Because in a Barack, when it was a Barack, and I hate comparing the two because they're two very different individuals. But I think around that time, we all could feel a change that
Yeah.
was needed. I think this time around, it felt like we were fighting against a brick wall. And I think what the issue was for me is I felt like it was so disrespectful that she had to be going toe-to-toe with a Donald Trump.
Right.
If it was a J.D. Vance, if it was a Mitt Romney, if it was any other Republican candidate, I might have different
Yeah.
reasonings or thoughts about that situation, because for me, that makes sense.
Right.
It feels like two people who have worked really hard to get here as politicians in
And they
their own
have
right,
like opposing
and
views.
opposing views about something. But again, like, I can work with.
Right.
I think the fact that it was a Trump made me feel like the fact that America could again put someone like Donald Trump, who is a convicted felon, who does not have any policies that actually help the entirety of America, but a certain group of people, put them against a woman who was as qualified as she was. I couldn't dream of a country where she would lead in that way. 'Cause
Right.
I couldn't think it was ready to exist yet. And I still don't think so. Because after 4 years of Trump now, I don't know what America would look like in 2028. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because 4 years of Trump is a long
It's
time.
gonna be a long time.
It's a long time. A lot of the policies that we hear in Project 2025, they're scary.
They have a Republican Senate, Republican House, Republican
and
Supreme Court.
again, I don't think politics or policies should feel this terrifying.
Have you seen his cabinet?
Yeah, terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't think politics, government should feel this terrifying, because the whole idea of having two-party systems or multiple-party systems is, even if your policy isn't in place, you don't feel unsafe.
Right.
In America right now, I think if you are a person of color, unless you are rich,
Right.
you should not be feeling safe in a
Right.
Trump America. And I think it's so frustrating when I see the amount of people who voted for Trump, especially immigrants, people of color who voted for Trump,
Yeah.
because the misguided idea that a Trump's America would have your back is crazy.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Or even if you think, right?
Yeah.
Having a clear understanding of the people it's going to affect,
Yeah.
right? And I think that I can't unsee that, because when I think about, like, I was already thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna be 40, because there's this
Yeah.
dream, right? Like we came to America, and having this dream of like wanting to grow a family here,
Yeah.
right? Because obviously you're not trying to go back home,
Yeah.
right? And being able to tell your children and be like, yo, like you live in a country where you had a dream, you came here, you
Yeah.
succeeded, and like this country elected a woman to be their president. And I think that was a robbery.
Yeah.
But I also think that a lot of people didn't even think the dream was possible, so they
Yeah.
didn't fight as hard.
I think they fought.
Because no, the people who fought.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
I think I'm telling you, I think people fought this time. I think Kamala had a real shot of winning.
Because you just said something about Obama, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you remember, Obama's rise
Yeah.
started in 2004, right?
Yeah. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people's conversations right now are they wish Biden had put her in early on. I think that would have given them more time to break her down.
Yeah.
So right. So like I think it was a safe bet. Not a safe bet. I think it was a risky bet.
Yeah.
To put her at the time they did.
Yeah.
Because the momentum was there and the sort of like pressure of we just gotta do this now.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think the worry was if we give them enough time, they will break this woman down to where there's no possibility
Before she even
would have
gets
won.
through the primary.
Through the primary,
Yeah.
she would have lost.
Yeah.
And I think that was what was the risky bet. And I think it still paid off. I also think like if we look at Trump's side of things, he has Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Right? And like just the tech giants that are behind Donald Trump's election. Because again, a Trump America is for folks who are rich.
Right.
Like that is the idea generally, like the financial growth that they can amass.
And I think
under
people
a
are
Trump.
genuinely, so someone talked about like senators, right?
Mhm.
And this was John Stewart, who was interviewing
Yeah.
a senator. And the senator said the guy decided not to run
Yeah.
in this election, right? But he said the reason he decided not to is because he doesn't think there's any senator on the Republican side who can go against Trump.
Yeah.
Because on the grassroots level,
Yeah.
they need Trump. Like if you go against Trump, there's no way you can win
can win.
re-election.
Yeah.
And I think he used that to explain how you notice how like a lot of all the senators previously were like, this guy's not fit to lead, all of these things.
Yeah.
Like they also voted to impeach him.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden,
They're all gone.
he's back.
And so, because I think that's what reminds me. I draw the parallel of like an African politics now, and how it's full circle. Because I think it's so funny how America used to look down on us for our politics and how sort of messy those relationships used to like are. Right? When you're like, why can't democracy be so easy? Like America is the foremost democratic government, blah 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 blah. And we see it happening right now with Trump. Like that amassing of grassroots support. That honestly. Idea of like him storming the Capitol with his supporters then and still being able to win, a convicted felon winning, and we realize this is what democracy is actually supposed to be. I don't know, but it's something you think about.
But I think that's one of the, it's probably a socialist thing that maybe needs to be discussed a lot more. I think that's one of the attributes of democracy, right?
Yeah.
The fact that Trump can exist.
Yeah.
His popularity is scary. And a lot of people look at him and they're like, he's a citizen.
Yeah.
He has rights.
Yeah.
He has freedom.
But I wish that was also given to someone who wasn't, because Trump, he's also a white man.
Yeah.
I don't think that the same respect would be afforded to him if he wasn't a white man.
Right.
Okay, I see you have a comment here. So I'm going to read it. As a Democrat, I voted Trump, and Chris was pretty close to describing why I voted this way. Being part African American, I felt the media told me I was racist and a bigot or just plain stupid for how I voted. Guess what? That pushed me to the ballot box. I may have stayed home, but with Trump, I knew what I would get. My vote counts, and no one should bully me or make me feel compelled to vote a certain way. I'm an individual. I'm an American. I never even heard anything from Harris that showed me any kind of wisdom or plan to help the American community. I'm exhausted of being black or male or in any box. I'm just an American that wants to be an American, not a black American, just a person. Trump makes me feel like a person that matters. When the media in opposition to Trump lies and misconstrues Trump, I say to myself and others, if they do that with him, what do they say of me and us? I want an honest man to lead us. Trump was more honest. He doesn't pander in a way that is demeaning. Kamala changes her accent from town to town, promises one-liners while Trump gives detailed plans. I hope and pray to the Lord that he does good, but even if he doesn't, I think it'll be better than Harris. For me, she's a guaranteed liar. He brings some hope. Honestly, you can't argue with this comment because it's simply not true. You know what I mean? It's not facts.
But the person believes it.
That's the thing. So I remember I talked about, I don't know when I've talked about this, that the beauty of a Trump in office is that what he's been able to do is tell people, I am different and you should follow me because I am different.
Right.
And that's it. Because we all don't like politicians. We've been bred to not like politicians. Like we don't like politics. Politics is messy. Our politicians are not to be trusted. They lie to us. We know that for a fact. So the beauty of a Trump when he first came on is these people are terrible. I speak the way I am. To see someone who wants to be president tell you, shut up, or you're not listening, or I'm gonna walk out, and move in that way seems very audacious. Oh, this is a breach of the status quo, of something different than we're used to. That makes sense, right? What I don't get is when I have conversations with people and they tell me that Trump tells us the truth. That is not true. Trump does not even speak in full sentences.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And this is not me being a Harris or Trump support. This is me just stating facts. Like when people
Trump
talk,
is an honest man.
like an honest man is crazy. He's never even released his tax returns.
He brings
That is crazy. You know what I mean? Like I think that to me is where my frustrations lie, and also the fact that people talk about, oh, I just want to be an American. I don't want to be black. I don't care that she's female, whatever, whatever. These same people who push labels on folks in society are the ones who are rebelling against these labels. But one thing's for certain, if you're not a white man or a white woman, you're not American in Trump's America. And that's a fact. So no matter what you think, if you're looking and saying, I don't want to be black, I don't want to be this, I don't want to be gay, I just want to be an American. You are not an American. If you ask any Trump supporter what an American is, I bet you it would not tell you it looks like you if you look like me.
Yeah.
Or if you're not like a full white man or woman. I'm letting you know that's a fact. So even when I read stuff like this, I get frustrated. I wish you knew. Because a Trump America doesn't leave space for someone like me to exist. And this is not me being pandering or me being, lying or gaslight. This is a literal fact. You've seen that over and over in the policies that are being enacted, and the fact that women don't have rights to choose anymore. Our bodies are not ours. You see videos. And my thing is, I don't understand it. I can't wrap my head around the fact that a president is able to say such crazy things and is allowed to lead all the people, right? Because I think that's the difference between like a Harris versus a Trump, right? The way they describe the people who they're leading. And that to me is what is driving me crazy about Trump's America. It's like people really look at this man and think, oh yeah, he's going to lead all of us. He's not in any way. So an America in 4 years is definitely not going to look like an America where minorities are welcome anymore. And this is not me being like hyperbolic. This is just facts. All right, let's move on. Sorry, I feel like I just went on a big rant about that.
No, like,
Whew, okay.
let's talk about how he won.
Okay.
Because this is someone who, and I love,
I think here's the thing.
looking back at 2016.
Yes.
Right?
I think here's the thing, before you even start that. I think Trump won not by fighting logic, right? And because I also think he won because of the over sensationalism that the liberal media put around him. Like right now, I can tell you, yeah, he's a felon. I can't tell you why he's a felon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I can tell you he's a criminal. I can't tell you why he's a criminal. They over sensationalize the idea of what this man is, that Trump is an enigma to a lot of people now. So you can't catch a Trump supporter by saying, oh, he's a criminal. Okay, Kamala Harris is a criminal too. What did she do? Well, she did. That's it.
She's where is it? A guaranteed liar.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that even mean?
You know what I'm saying? So like, for me, when we talk about like why he was reelected, whether it's like racism or women's rights and stuff like that, those aren't things now that we've been told will make someone not a good president.
Right.
Because if you're looking at the facts, everyone said Trump is not going to be a good president. His entire cabinet told y'all that they quit on him last time he was president because he was not a good president.
Right.
Like, this is fact. But again, sensationalizing him as a person is what has gotten him there. We've
Right.
seen a lot of that in in different things.
Are we watching different TVs?
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Because let me give you an example, right? Like in 2016, Trump said Hillary was a criminal. She
Yeah.
was a crook,
Yeah.
right? That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Arrest her. And that was the first thing he said. Once he gets into office, he painted this picture
Yeah.
of a bad Hillary
Yeah.
and how as Secretary of State, she was like the gangster.
Yeah.
And then he won.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pursued her with everything he got,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing happened. In 2020, it was Hunter Biden and how Biden is colluding with Russia and everything.
Yeah.
And this man got into office,
Mm-hmm.
right? He was impeached.
Yeah.
Like now he has what 34 counts.
Yeah.
All this was on the news because there's the argument of yes, I agree. Like the media, like for profit, sensationalized him and just like they made him popular.
Yeah.
The beast that is Donald Trump, not even now, from the inception of like
it's always been because of the media.
They created this.
Yeah.
And they keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because the moment he won,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, Kamala should have done this. Oh, she should have done that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you guys looking at this man just won the popular vote?
Mm-hmm.
Like 50+%
Yeah.
of Americans want this man
in office. Terrifying. Okay, let's look at, but yeah, I think, I don't know. I feel like we're going to talk in circles here because honestly, even like this podcast, for example, folks who are listening to this podcast would probably be Trump supporters or like, and I mean Trump supporters, like the folks who actually voted for him, who are in these swing states and in these like battleground states.
What if
I
we
don't think so.
clickbait them?
We should clickbait them?
We should.
Okay, see.
The thumbnail
Let's see what we come up with the
like,
thumbnail.
Yay,
Trump won. See what people say. Maybe we should do that just to get different people to listen.
So like,
to
let's talk about her disadvantages, right?
Kamala?
Because, yes.
She's Kamala.
Kamala.
That exactly it. Like, I'm not even saying that because I can't pronounce her name, but I'm telling you, like, the amount of times I would see short clips online basically just saying, how do you pronounce Kamala? Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
That alone, like, that takes me back to, like, corporate America. When even as a qualified person, your name would be like, oh, what is your name again? Oh, I don't care. Oh, wait, can you pronounce that? Can you say that again? Oh, can I just call you this? That alone showed a very huge lack of respect for someone who is the vice president of the United States. You are telling me you could not think to learn her name.
I saw a picture.
Woosah.
The picture said, rednecks for Obama.
Yeah.
And I think that's because yes, people say, and you know, she spoke about abortion too much.
Yeah.
She, you know, used celebrities.
I don't think that's, I think he did the same thing.
Yes, right. Exactly. Right?
I remember, I think I saw that argument somewhere. Someone told me how, like, you know, Trump, like, Kamala was always just going on TV and doing this. I'm like, the only reason you guys are seeing Kamala on TV is because a lot of the mainstream media that you're watching is liberal. She's on SNL because SNL is pretty heavily liberal. Yeah. She's on The Daily Show. I don't think she's on The Daily Show, but they're talking about her because they lean heavily liberal. Yeah. Trump was all over Joe Rogan and this guy, the white guy, the one who's like, who gave him a Rolex watch.
Who?
I forget. Alex. No, I forget his name. But there's this like white conservative guy. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's Alex Jones. Maybe. But like he also went on a lot of like far right
very
far right media. And that's what I'm telling you.
And Kamala only went to call daddy.
That was it. And even that
just so she could reach the white women. That's it.
Exactly.
That was it.
You see the difference? I think they both were selling into their market. Kamala was a lot mainstream. Right. But again, the people who are voting for Trump, who are actually voting in America, aren't mainstream. Right. Right? Because a lot of times, what you're consuming in the mainstream is oftentimes a minority of what the actual majority of the population is looking at. That's why I keep telling folks, people tell me, oh, America is so great because, you know, they love everyone. No. To be gay in America, even though it seems like, oh, same-sex marriage was legalized, is still frowned upon in a lot of states in America. To be a woman and not be married is still frowned upon. That's to have this country.
No, I was in Delulu. You know why?
You're in Delulu.
In my head, I'm like, Kamala's going to become president. No. And then do you know who's going to run next?
Who?
Pete
Buttigieg is crazy.
And AOC will be his vice president. That's what I was thinking in my head.
What world?
Because like he's so good.
So great. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Let's make this a little bit fun. Right? Okay. I heard of the 4B movement.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I saw the 4B movement conversation.
Let me play you this video.
So since the election results, a lot of American women have been turning to South Korea's 4B movement, and it's gaining a lot of popularity. But do you guys actually know what the 4B movement is and how South Korean women got to this point? This is going to be an in-depth video, so stick with me, guys. So what does P mean in Korean?
Wait, I'm not watching this. I'm in this video. Okay. So, but what people are trying to do now is like, they're like, you know, no sex
Oh, I
No
saw.
men.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, what do you think about that? Because like I feel like you know the problem
What?
with the internet and society right now.
And
People
what?
joke a lot.
A joke a lot.
They think everything is funny,
Vibes.
and they don't understand like the gravity and like how things actually impact. Because like, why is this a thing? And people
but
actually shaving their heads.
No, the 4B movement is a thing, but again, like what she said, I think America is a very entitled space to be in, right? Because we can still exist. Like even like living in New York, we have bubbles. Like Cali is a bubble, but like America too, in that way, is just very interesting how even looking at the women talking about the 4B movement and just how fun it is for TikTok. I could go on TikTok right now and say, oh my God, you guys, I voted for Kamala Harris. I'm so sorry. Black women, don't be mad at me. And I still would have voted for Donald Trump and kept it moving.
That's true.
That's the reality of a lot of situations here in this country.
Oh.
So even like seeing folks talking about...
Was that shade?
What?
Was that shade?
Shade?
Yeah.
No.
You
Why
sure?
would it be shade?
Okay.
Yeah.
That felt like shade.
It did, didn't it? Wow. But yeah, I think it's interesting. So no, that made me chuckle a little bit because I don't think America is ready. I don't think we're even there yet, right? Because if we were, Kamala Harris would have been president. If we were in an actual 4B movement,
I see what you're saying. If that movement was a thing.
I think even too many women still feel like they don't deserve a voice in this space,
right.
And white men and men should oftentimes rule their bodies. They believe in the church and the state coming together. There's so much nuance within politics in America for us to even get to the point of a 4B movement being something of a reality here.
I have a question.
Talk to me.
What do you think about this whole like Christian nationalism thing?
I think religion as a way would always find a way to come back into the discourse of church versus state because religion has a big chokehold on society. Religion is the first and foremost only tool that has been proven to work in getting a group of people to listen and follow. You know what I mean?
Right.
What else?
Because any other thing is just probably fear-based.
Yes.
Yeah.
Religion is the only thing that's been proven. So I think religion will always have a place, whether that's Christian nationalism, whether that's like, you see it with the Taliban in Afghanistan, like religion always will be a tool to control. And so I'm not shocked by it. I think it's high time America has brought it back, honestly, because I feel like you hear this thing about how America went too far left too quickly and now they're trying to come back to the center. I don't know what that means. I just wish the world would just let other people live and just be them. I don't think it's possible, but a girl could dream.
Obviously we know like majority of white men voted for Kamala.
Yes.
Majority of white women. A lot of the new voters have voted for Trump.
Yes.
Let's say voted for Kamala, voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Yes. But a lot of new voters have voted for...
Yeah, but I think the interesting thing about a lot of people who say they voted for Trump is policy. So the unfortunate thing about the Democratic Party is they're not known to be the financial party.
Yeah.
Right? Because in a democratic society, there shouldn't be a huge wealth gap, right? It generally should be more of like a socialist sort of process. I think the Republican Party focuses more on like financial gain and financial support.
But they're not the one, like the Democratic Party are the ones that actually like
Yeah, but people don't want to hear that.
Economy.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand, like,
they don't know how
the
economy works.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people know how the economy works, because even I didn't, but I know common sense. I shouldn't say that because that's mean sometimes. The point is, a lot of people who are like new voting, they're looking at, okay, well, what party is going to give me my money? And a lot of times, if you see Trump, a successful businessman, and I put, if you're not watching this, I put successful in quotes because Trump has been known to have a ton of failed businesses. They put him in office because they think he can change that trajectory and make them money. I don't think that's realistic. I don't think that's true. So when you see like a huge population of Latino voters, Asian voters, even, Black voters, Nigerian immigrants voting for Trump, that makes sense, right? That makes sense that a country that will elect Tinubu will also elect a Donald Trump. Like, that's not far-fetched.
I think I had conversations with a few friends who are like Latino who voted for Trump.
Also, like the Latino population also is heavily Catholic.
And that's
heavily religious too.
And I think that's the thing, right? Because a lot of immigrants
are
also very conservative.
Yes. So I think a democratic society looks like from my perspective, looks like people do whatever they want. They have choices. A Trump America takes the choice away from you and puts it into the government. And I think people want that. Because I have a lot of friends online, when I see their story where they're like, yeah, I'm finally, Kamala's terrible policies about children having this and about parents and about abortion, like let the government decide. It's a slippery slope when you let the government start deciding, right? But especially a government that's fully dominated by cishet white men, right? A world is a better place when you allow people to have choices for their own selves. But I also think like that's a kumbaya world. Like, and the issue with the Democratic Party right now is kumbaya isn't going to sell because people want strong. They want their leaders to be hard and rigid and tell them exactly how it is. And a democratic society doesn't allow for that. If anything, it allows for more voices into the space and into the room to voice their opinions, and that slows down policies. Like we think about it from the Good Place. Right, I'm gonna hopefully find that video if I have time to put in this video. When The Good Place is this really incredible sitcom show where they went to the Good Place and they finally were telling the Good Place like there's an issue with the voting system, people are going to hell, it's not working out, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna get to it in 1,000,000 years, like 1,000 years to just deliberate, and they were like, no, we need an answer now. The idea is with a democratic society, decisions aren't made quickly because you're supposed to hear everyone's voices, which essentially slows things down. More of what the Republican or Trump America is telling you is Trump is the guy, necessarily, like, I don't want to use the word tyrant, but it's essentially like, this is the person who's going to tell you exactly how it is. This is how we're going to do it. Nothing else matters. Yeah. And then we go from there. Yeah, I think that's the frustrating part. And so that's why I don't have an answer. I'm not 100% on Kamala Harris's policies. I'm not 100% on Donald Trump's because he has no policies that would affect me in any way. But I will say I am someone who's going to benefit more from a Trump America in terms of financially than I would in a Harris America. However, long term, I will benefit more from a Harris America than I would from a Trump long term.
Because the community will be richer.
The community will be different. The community will be richer. People will be richer. Life will be a lot easier. And I think one of the last things I want to talk about is the conversations now around people losing friends and family around like different opinions. I think here's the thing. A difference of opinion is okay when it doesn't negate my existence. Yeah. And I think that's my biggest issue. I think what has ended up happening is a Trump America isn't just a I want more taxes or I want less taxes or I want more housing or less housing, no social security, more social security. Like it's not necessarily about policies or economic or financial or supportive of anything other than just targeting basic human rights. Yeah. Not me literally tearing up from this. A Trump America now tells me as a Black woman I shouldn't exist. You might think of that as dramatic, but it is fact. The America I know now doesn't feel safe for me to exist in as an immigrant, as a Black woman, as an immigrant, as a Muslim, you know, as someone who's queer. Like, it just doesn't allow me to exist. As a woman, you know, with just when I keep thinking of the guy's chants, like, your body, our choice, your body, our choice. And that feels so true for every single facet of my life now. Like, even as an immigrant, if I ever get stopped at the border, my body is their choice. They can send me wherever the fuck they want to send me to. They can put me in a cage. They can put kids in a cage. If the police want to stop Black people on the streets, they can do so now in America that Trump is championing for. Sundown towns exist now and are feeling really proud to not want Black people in their spaces, to not want mixed people in their spaces. In a Trump America, that is the norm. And forgive me if I see that and I'm not scared or I can't be friends with you anymore because you voted for someone like that into office because of whatever the fuck you think you're doing. Because if at all, a difference in opinion isn't that. That's not a difference in opinion. That's you telling me blatantly you hate me and you don't want me to exist. So I think that's my 2 cents on the matter. I'm sad. I'm heartbroken that Kamala Harris didn't win. I'm also just proud to be a Black woman because we always stand on business. Some of the best people you know are Black women. and we always will ride for each other. And so when I saw a lot of Black women just being so exhausted by voting in that election, I think, yeah, this sounds about right.
Yeah.
It sounds about like this is our reality half of the time anyways. I don't know when America is going to wake up. I'm terrified to see if Trump is going to step down in 2028. I'm very curious to see if that will happen. It'll be fun to see what that looks like and who's going to take over from that. But also, a part of me is also excited that he has done his second term and that's done.
Yeah.
Because now maybe I
We'll
don't know who can take over from Trump, and I think maybe this was just a blip in the American political history. You never know. And hopefully maybe one day we'd have our first female president. Hopefully she's Black. Maybe she won't be. You never know.
Doesn't
In
matter.
America, you never know. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode, you guys. We love you so very much. And let us know your opinions. I think we all have very, very strong opinions about this election cycle. I want to know your thoughts. As always, keep it respectful. And I will see you in my next episode. Love you guys. And was I too loud in this one?
You made me cry for a little bit.
Bye, guys. It is freezing, tunnels. Jesus.